Good morning. Today, I have a little experiment to do. I'm going to clean up my palette, and then we're going to get started mixing black paint. This is something I haven't done since high school. I've always since just bought some black paint and used it. Frankly, buying black paint is a lot easier. It's simple, easy to do. But I've been thinking a lot about color lately, and this keeps seeping into my mind. So let's get our palette clean and get started. In thinking about color, I bought this book, and lo and behold, there was a section on mixing blacks. So I figured I should give it another try. I'm going to be using all Masters Touch paints through this series, and I'm going to be comparing mixing some of those combinations suggested with the pre-bought black. In this first one, I was supposed to use a phthalo blue and a crimson to mix up a black. Let's see how it works. Using just two colors, blue and red, I was a little skeptical that I would be getting a purple, and that's kind of what I got. So I figured black is supposed to be all the colors. Let's add another one. I added some green, and as you see, it kind of mixes up. It really does turn it more into a black than that real dark purple. After modifying this, I was quite a bit happier with the end result, and maybe it is possible to mix black. This is the permanent black that I'm using to compare it. They look pretty similar, not maybe quite as dark on the left, but fairly similar. So throughout this, I will be always showing you my version of a mixed black on the left and the store-bought version on the right. Up close and personal, they're both pretty black. Maybe a hint of blue on the left, but pretty black. The next step to do is to tone this down and work in kind of shades and tones. Let's add a little bit of white to this and see how it is. That's a very nice gray. It definitely has a blue tone, but it's pretty gray. When compared to the mixed black, it looks less gray, but there is something more dull about the mixed black, or the pre-mixed black gray. Maybe that's something I'm missing in my shadows. So in this book, there was more than one way to mix black, so I'm going to try the next one, ultramarine, crimson, and yellow. I started adding about equal proportions of all three to see how that would behave together. At this point, I can already tell I'm not making black. I am making a muddy red. So I wanted to tone down that red by adding more blue and yellow. And it's still just kind of a mopey mauve or something. So I'm trying to add some darkness, and the darkest color I have out of those three is the blue. I decide that's not enough, that maybe a darker purple will get me there. So I add some red, some more blue, and I do this for a while until I get the closest that I think this color combination is going to get me. I can already tell you, I don't think it's as black as the other one. You can see that right here, but let's test it out. After painting it on the paper, it does look darker on the paper than I anticipated, but it's quite purple. And this really could be my fault. I might just not be doing this right, but we'll see. Next, we've got ultramarine, burnt umber, and a grass green. This was kind of a mix of my own making based on a suggestion and that I didn't think was going to quite work. And this did make a pretty nice black. It was a little more brown and a little more green, although on the paper it really looks very black. When I toned this one down, it was the most similar to the pre-mixed black mixed with white. So this one might be the closest to a pre-mixed black. But overall, when I was talking about blacks, I decided that I liked the first that I mixed the best, followed by the third, and then the second. Here are all three of them together. Which one do you like best? I think this is going to be fun to test it out, so let's try it. I had a ton of black, and so I decided to set myself a challenge to paint something using only the blacks that I had created and being able to tone them down with some whites. So I mixed together all of the blacks, and you'll have noticed in that first layer that some are more purple or blue. But overall, when you paint them together, gosh, that looks pretty black, and there is no pre-mixed black in there. As I'm sure you're starting to guess, I decided to paint a space theme with all of my blacks because to me, that is kind of the perfect opportunity for using blacks and different tones of black specifically, because when we think of the sky, especially when we're thinking of galaxies in the sky and things like that, it's not a perfect black, and the sky isn't ever sedentary. It always changes and the colors change, so it was nice to have some of those tonal differences in the background. And then I used each one of these planets that I'm painting is based on a different one of the blacks I mixed up. So the one in the top left corner is the third black I mixed up, which is kind of a nice grayish one. The bluer one, I love how that toned down, even though it was the darkest of the three that I mixed. When I did mix it with white, it turned this beautiful blue, and it was the same with the purple, but the purple was obviously not as good of a pure black. Overall, I was quite pleased with the result of this. The background was definitely black when I mixed together all of the different mixed black colors I made, and I like the tonal qualities of it. What do you think? Is mixing your own black paint worth it? Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe.